much should I expect, or even me or anybody that wants to develop an app, how much should I expect to invest in a developer, and then also to have on hand for just like the monthly expenses that go into like running the app?
Okay, so this really depends on where your developer is located,
Okay.
how you bring them on. Are they going to be a technical co-founder? Are you guys doing a split share, of the business? Are you promising them a monthly salary? All of that stuff.
So
But
they
let's,
continue to stay because they have to stay with you.
right,
Okay.
exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so if you brought in a technical co-founder and you guys go 50-50 from the very get-go, and you guys both agree nobody takes a salary or cut or anything until there is profit coming in. For me, it's not even revenue, it's profit. And then if you guys agree on that, then there's really very, very minimal cost,
Right.
because you really just have the hosting cost and you just have the cost of making sure your firewall is in place, all of that stuff, your emails, your usual business stuff. But let's say it doesn't pan out that way and you do need a developer. If you are looking for somebody here in the US and you have to pay them, you're looking for upwards of 10,000 a month. If you're looking for overseas, it's about 10 to 20% of that.
Okay.
That's just the monthly maintenance, not the development part.
Right.
If you do the development, even if it's overseas, you can look at least like 5 to 10 grand a month when you want it to get off the ground and everything. So it's not cheap. We're not revenue generating yet. We're not at that point. But again, it's my why. I'm doing this for the industry. I'm doing this for the fellow makeup artists, for everybody else that wants accessible beauty, so.
Welcome to the Friends in Beauty podcast, a safe space for ambitious beauty industry creatives to have real talk, get authentic answers, and practical tools to grow their businesses. Join me every week as me and my special guest reveal the keys to longevity and success in the beauty industry, from the ups and downs of their journey to the nitty-gritty of their struggles and triumphs. We're spilling the tea on it all, and most importantly, having fun while doing it. You ready? Hey, what's up? It's your best friend in beauty, Aquia Robinson. Welcome back to another episode of the Friends in Beauty podcast. I am so happy to have you here, and I hope you're listening to this episode in high spirits and in good health. Now, on today's episode, I am so excited to have Avista in the Friends in Beauty guest chair. So Avista is a makeup artist and the creator of the Glist App. The Glist App is an app that connects clients with beauty professionals. They can search and book vetted hair, makeup, nails, spray tanning artists to come to their doorstep. I'm so excited to talk about this. We don't see a lot of beauty pros stepping out into like the tech world. So that's why I'm so excited that I met Avista at the makeup show, and now I have her here on the Friends of Beauty podcast. So welcome to the Friends of Beauty podcast, Avista.
Thank you so, so, so much, Aquia. Thank you for having me. And thank you for coming to our booth at the makeup show. I know as soon as you came up, my husband was like, you gotta talk to her. She has such a good vibe. You just have to talk to her. And I was like, okay. I think I had stepped away from the booth for a second. And I was like, yeah, of course. Anyone. I want to just talk to everyone and anyone that is interested in Glist. So I'm so happy to be here.
I did not even realize that was your husband. He knows his stuff about Glist because he was giving me the rundown. I was like, okay, where is the owner? Because I need to talk to her. Like, this is amazing. So that's how he ended up coming over.
Oh, I gotta tell him that he's doing a good job.
He did phenomenal explaining everything. That's why I'm so excited to have you here and talk all about it. But before we do that, we're going to start off with some icebreakers just to get us warmed up. And I always say, like, so the Friends of Beauty audience can get to know you outside of what you do professionally.
Yeah.
So the first one, just give us 3 random facts about you.
All right. I'm a middle child and I have 4 brothers. So there's that.
No sisters.
No sisters at all. And being right in the middle, too old or too younger.
Wow. Okay.
I have 2 beautiful daughters, which I don't share on my social medias for privacy reasons, but I feel like a lot of people don't even know that I'm a mom.
Yeah.
So when I say it, they're like, oh, wait, you've got this also going on. I'm like, yes,
That's
I'm
amazing.
a mom first and foremost. And I don't know. I don't know what else. Do you want a fun fact, something personal about me?
Yeah, fun fact.
Um, I love jelly beans. I absolutely love jelly beans.
Any
I'm
particular
obsessed.
flavor?
I love all of them. I know I'm the weirdo that likes the licorice one. So my daughters hate the licorice one. So I'm like, give me all the licorice, tell me.
Did you get into it when they were doing like those mystery flavors? Do they still do that? The mystery flavors, and you kind of have to guess like which one it is?
No, I didn't even know that was a thing. I
Yeah.
did like I'm so obsessed with jelly beans that my brother and sister-in-law, they went on a trip somewhere, can't remember where. They came back with jelly beans. It said it was one flavor, but it was not that. It was like really spicy, really different. And they were like,
Oh,
I think now they call it the bean boozled ones. And
that's
at the
crazy.
time, I didn't know that.
They tried to get you.
Yes.
That is so funny. What do people always tell you that you're good at aside from what you do professionally?
Um, I'm a loyal friend. And I always stand up for people, whether it's in front of them or behind them, whether they're around or not. I always stand up for my friends. And I'm very direct. And some people love that. A lot of people actually love that.
Yeah.
And there are very few who don't. So that's something that they always know where they are with me. So there's no guessworking.
Look, I know that's right. That's something that I'm working on, being more direct. I hold my tongue a lot because I know that when I am direct, it's like, ooh, it might not come out the right way. So I find myself holding my tongue a lot because I don't want to like rub people the wrong way.
But do you feel like that is a way, it's because of your delivery, or do you feel like that's because the person can't dissect what you just said unless it's packaged to them in a beautiful way?
Probably my delivery. Like if I say it like
Oh yeah.
right in the moment, it's gonna come off like real, you gonna be hurt. So I have to sometimes I just have to sit a while and think about what I'm gonna say and then like deliver it or not say anything
See,
at all.
see, I don't do the sitting in a while. I feel like that just brews up so much, and I'm just like, I just let it all out, and I'm like, here we go.
I love it.
Do with it what you want, and then we'll go from there. I think it
Shoot.
also has something to do with being raised with four brothers. Like
Hmm.
my brothers don't have that passive aggressiveness. They don't play around. They just tell you how it is. And
Yeah,
so that rubbed off.
I hear that. Okay, shoot. Well, I need to learn. I need to rub off. Need to rub off on me a little bit. When is the last time that you did something for the first time?
May 7th and 8th, I was an executive producer for the first time because we're bringing education to Glist. So we were
Yes.
recording a masterclass, makeup masterclass series with someone that you guys had on the show before, Ashanta Sharif Kendricks.
Nice. We
Yeah.
love a
So
showtime.
well, I love Ashunta. She's such a sweetheart. I absolutely love her. And she's also one of those people that can be very direct, and I love that about her. She's
Mhm.
very fierce, but also kind. But yeah, executive producer. I saw that on the call sheet. I was like, wait, is this right? I'm an executive producer now.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So that was the first
Congratulations.
thing.
I can't
Thank
wait to hear
you.
more about that. I'm gonna ask you about that later. I can't wait to hear more about that.
Hey.
For
Yeah.
sure. Is there like, well, I guess that's another one, but like another mini win, something like a milestone that has happened this year, like a highlight. Do you have anything other than being an executive producer that you're like really proud of?
Yes, we just hit 1,000 users on the app that I'm really, really proud of. Um,
Wow.
And we have been really trying to tiptoe that balance between clients and artists and clients and artists. And it's kind of almost split in between.
Okay.
So we've been working on that and we're right there. So we're excited.
That's a great milestone, 1,000 and then times. This is gonna keep growing. That's really cool.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's
Yeah.
not a lot, but if you know about marketplaces, they're notoriously difficult to take off. So
Uh-huh.
for us, every small win, even if it's not monetary, is a huge one to us.
Absolutely. Yes. Okay. So if you weren't a makeup artist and if you weren't operating the Glist app, is there anything else you could see yourself doing professionally?
Ooh, I feel like I would always be an entrepreneur.
Hmm.
I think and I think I would still be in beauty, probably within the goods industry, like instead of the service industry. But yeah, no, I feel like Entrepreneurship has my heart, and that's what I would be doing. And beauty has my heart.
Nice. Okay, I love it. Look, I want to talk about this app because I think one of the reasons why I was so excited to meet you and so excited to talk about this. I think I told you this, but we always see, and people always ask me too, as a makeup artist, like, are you going to do a product line? Like, are you going to do like just something always product related? So I was really excited to see a makeup artist who decided to do something in tech, like go like the tech route. Like, you have to tell me about why you created Glist.
Sure. Oh my gosh, where do I start? So
And
I'll
like
start.
why you created Glist and didn't go like the traditional like makeup product route.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the idea of Glist became of my own inabilities to make it in a makeup industry in the terms of the administrative side of the business.
Okay.
So I think that just led me to thinking there has to be something better. But let's go way before that. I've been doing makeup for over a decade now. I started the very typical Sephora. I was a tomboy before I did makeup.
I
Like, I
could
mean, to the
four brothers.
four brothers, and I wanted to just be one of them all the time. So, and I think at one point, one of my brothers actually said to my mom, "Hey, can she be more like a girl because she is more like," and um and it was because I had I'm just going to be very vulnerable here. I had like a little shadow around my mouth, and I
Uh-huh.
wanted to get rid of it. And my mom was very traditional, very strict, like, no, you shouldn't be putting any products on your face. It's going to ruin your face, all of that stuff.
Hey, I know you're enjoying the episode, but I need you to do something really, really important for me, like right now. I need you to leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and let the people know how much you love the Friends of Beauty podcast. See, in the podcast streets, I'm going to let you know something. If you don't leave a review, then people don't know that the show exists, and then the show won't grow. Reviews are so essential to the continued success of the Friends of Beauty podcast, and plus, I really just want to know what you think about the podcast. I appreciate all the DMs, but a 5-star review would be even better. I would love to read your review on the show and give you a shout out for being a loyal listener. And if it's not a 5-star review, don't even worry about it. All right, don't even worry. Just go ahead and send me an email, honey. We ain't got time for that. If you're watching me on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and even leave a comment to share a takeaway from something that you learned so far. If you don't subscribe or give a thumbs up, then the YouTube streets don't know that the Friends of Beauty podcast exists either. You see how this is going? This is a group effort, and I appreciate you so, so much. Okay, I'm done. I'm done. Let's go ahead and get back into the episode.
So my brothers were like, can she please get rid of that? We don't need a fifth brother. Like,
Oh my God.
we do want to have a girl. So anyways, I was a super tomboy. I didn't touch makeup, anything like that for, I want to say 18, 20 years of my life. And then when it was time, my mom was like, don't you want to put on a little blush? I was like, no, I don't. I actually don't. And then I ended up at Sephora, and it was a whole new world. It was like,
Uh-huh.
what is this? This is amazing. And shortly after I started working there, I started seeing inconsistencies and things that could be improved. And this is way before the DoorDash existed, way before those likes existed, the service industry on demand existed in
Yeah.
general. But I would see people coming into Sephora and getting their makeup done, and I would be like, this is so awkward. You sitting
Mm.
there, and it's literally feels like you are part of the circus, and everybody's here to watch your
Yeah.
face getting
I never even thought
transformed.
about that before. Like you're just sitting in the middle of the store while people are shopping and getting your makeup done. Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody stands around you, and they start looking at you, and they start judging, and they start criticizing, or they start loving it. And me being me, like I said earlier to you, I am not one that loves being in front of the camera. I love being behind the camera. It just made me feel icky in a way. I was like, there has to be a better way. And this was 2008. This was
Yeah.
way before, like, I think Airbnb was just taking off or
Okay.
just getting started.
Okay.
Um, so years passed, and I was like, okay, I moved out of Sephora. I finished with college. I got my undergrad in econ, and I decided to go in the government contracting world. I did something completely different. So I started my career there, but I was freelancing on the side. So I was really enjoying, initially, let's just put it this way. I used to be an art major, and then my mom said, there's no money in art, do
Okay.
something different. So I changed it to econ, but I always had a passion for art. And I was like, well, my medium can be a face, or, my canvas can be a face, and
Mm-hmm.
my medium could be makeup.
Mm-hmm.
So I translated into that, you know, uh, that kind of art, let's put it
Yeah.
that way. And I loved it. It was a way for me to get my creativity out doing a 9 to 5 corporate job. And I was freelancing on the side. And I did that between, I want to say, 2012 and 2018.
Okay.
So I was just freelancing. I loved it. I wasn't very good at the admin side of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I tried everything. I did the website, I developed that, and I got traction, but not really where it needed to be.
Yeah.
Then I tried to do the whole word of mouth thing. I would leave my cards with everyone and anyone that would listen. And a lot of my transactions did come from word of mouth, which was great, but I wanted more than that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then again, just managing a contract with each client, I was like, there has to be a more efficient way of doing this. Like, I
Yeah.
just can't do it. So during that period of time, I think we all saw the rise of Airbnb. We all saw the rise of Uber. And I was like, wow, this industry that was like never existed before
Yeah.
in this capacity. It did. I mean, there was couch surfing, there was all of these other sites before, but it didn't exist in the form of an app, in this form of booking us, online and everything. And the same thing with Uber. I was like, wow, this, they're taxis,
Right. They just put the
but
taxis out of business.
yeah, but now they're Ubers, and now it's so much more convenient for us, and
Mm-hmm.
we kind of demand what we want and when we want it and everything. So it got me thinking, well, if I can book an Airbnb that easy, and actually a thought came up in our honeymoon. When my husband and I were out on our honeymoon 2016, and we were in Greece, and I told him, I was like, you know what's really funny? We could book an Airbnb today in Japan and leave Greece and just go to Japan, just explore, or Turkey, whatever is close by. Japan
Right.
was further away, but I wouldn't know who to call for hair, makeup, nails. I would be
Mm,
lost.
that's
I
so
would
true.
have no idea. You know, I wouldn't speak the language if we were going somewhere further away. Where do I start? I was like, why is it that I can stay in somebody else's house? Why is that easier than booking beauty? Like
Mm,
it should be just as easy, right? But
right.
it's not. So 2016, during that honeymoon, actually, I kept talking about it. My husband was like, okay, can we enjoy our honeymoon finally? Like, can we just focus? Can you stop thinking about that right now? When we get back, we start thinking about it. And then when I went back, so the evolution of Glist started with, I was thinking about maybe having little stores, little boutiques where you
Yeah.
just pop in and pop out of, and they're all known under the same umbrella. And the name back then was Blush Beauty Lounge, is what I
Mm,
had it
yeah.
under. It's like there's Blush Beauty Lounge, and you go in, you get your hair done, your makeup done, and blah, blah, blah. And they're going to open up 1,000 of these all over the US. And, things happen. And I just thought from a business perspective, there's just a lot of money that's going to be tied into that because brick and mortar was kind of fading out and everything tech was coming in.
Especially like the
And
pandemic time and stuff.
yes, yes. And in 2018, I had my first girl, and I was like, I wouldn't even be able to run all of these individual stores right now. This would be way too hard. So, and then 2020, so within that 2016, 2020 timeframe, I focused on my career within government contracting, and
Okay.
I moved up within that, and I started doing less and less makeup just because with the little one at home, with the career growing there, I was like, okay, maybe this is not meant for me.
Yeah.
And then I start seeing people getting sandwiches delivered to their doors. I was like, hold on a second. And I did it too. And I was like, wait, I'm paying $30 for $8 sandwich just because of the convenience of it.
Right, that's so true. But that fee be getting me sometimes. Sometimes I would be like, okay, I'm not ordering because I'm not paying $30 for one item.
Absolutely.
That's
And
so true.
that comes into play when I developed Glist. And
Yeah.
it's like it's something that I actively think about. But I was like, hold up, people can now deliver sandwiches, people can now deliver pasta to their door, whatever they want, an egg if they want from a grocery store. That
Right.
is insane. So I was thinking, there has to be a better way of doing beauty,
Mhm.
and bringing this really fragmented industry together. But not just that, I think I skipped a huge part of why I wanted autonomy for artists as well as empowering artists, um, which is because I joined a company that was acquired later by Glam Squad.
Okay.
So this happened in 2016. So I shouldn't say I was just focusing on my career. And I think 2016, I joined a company local in the DC area that was acquired by Glam Squad. And I realized that I want autonomy as an artist because I figured they may be able to help me with the admin side of things. And they
Hmm.
did. They did do that. The admin side was covered. I didn't have to worry about that. But I had no more autonomy in terms of my pricing.
Hmm.
I was taking autonomy out of my scheduling, my availability, flexibility, as well as my geographic location.
Right,
Because
right.
at that point, I'd moved away from Tyson's Corner, if if you're familiar
Hmm.
with the area. I moved away from being 15, 20 minutes to DC to being further out. And I was like, I don't want to drive into DC every time I have a client at a rate that you're telling me, of which I'm only getting 60% off.
Right.
I was like, it's not even covering my gas mileage, and I'm not even getting my travel costs covered. I was
Right.
like, this is really taking advantage of artists. This is really taking advantage of artists like me who just don't want to do the administrative side of things. So I dropped that really fast too. So when DoorDash started, Uber Eats started, and everything, I was like, there's something there. And
Hmm.
so 2020, we had our second daughter in April of 2020, right after the pandemic. And I told my husband, you know what? If I knew of a single nail artist that would come to me, I would risk getting a pedicure done right now because before I was delivering our second daughter,
Yes.
my pedicure, because I was supposed to go in March, I think March 18th, but everything shut down. Or maybe it was later because I had her sometime in April. And then I was supposed to have another appointment in April, but I couldn't even get to my other appointment. So I'm like 2 months overdue with my
Hmm.
pedicure. If I knew a single person that could have come to my house,
Hmm.
double mask up, stay away from me. We can be like the 5 feet difference. I stretch out my feet just to get my pedicure done,
Yes.
please. I just don't want to go to deliver a baby with these, I don't know, they look like claws on my
Right.
feet. I was like, I would have booked that person to come to me, but
Hmm.
there wasn't anything like this. There's still, very few places
Yeah,
that come to you yeah, well, very few people that come to you when you're not in a major city. Um, yeah, so I did my pedicure, 9 month pregnant, and I think that was rough. I mean, I know COVID it was a scary time. It was really,
Mhm.
really scary. And I just thought, even with that, like with the nail salons and everything closed, if you had like one person contact and you were both tested, this business model could survive
Yeah.
going through this. So I started it in 2020, got my laptop. My husband bought me a laptop and he was like, I'm tired of hearing about this. Just start it already. And I
Right. That's
gave
why
him
he knows so much about the business because he heard you talking about it from the honeymoon and for years. So that's why he's able to
yes.
be like, yeah, this is what it is.
Exactly. He's been involved since the very beginning in the sense of hearing me talk about every idea, everything that goes through. But yeah, 2020 came around, 2021, I started it. And being a woman in tech, it's a
Mm.
whole different, can I curse on this
Yeah, you
podcast? I
can. You
don't.
can be
It's
yourself.
a, thank you. It's a whole different shit show. Like being a woman in tech, it's a whole different environment. Like it's already hard being a minority. And then on top of that, being a woman in tech is it's hard. It's rough out there.
Right.
Um, I'm on my fourth developer
Wow.
or developer company. And I'll be happy to share with you that journey if we have time for it today.
Right.
But it's not as glamorous as you think or you see, but it was definitely the right move for me, moving from beauty and wanting to make it more accessible and more empowering. I feel like it was just such a natural evolution to getting there
Hmm.
because I have been through everything. Like I said earlier, the website, the agency, the doing it on your own, the social media. I've tried it all.
Right.
And I am the case study where I'm like, I needed this.
So
I wish
even
I had
even
this.
still doing all of those things, you still didn't feel confident, like over a decade, you still didn't feel confident in the admin side.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Even after a decade, I feel like I also was a very busy person. I had a career outside of the beauty industry, and I just wanted somebody else to take over the
Yeah.
administrative stuff. But I also didn't want somebody to rip me up, to rip me off and
Yeah.
to tell me how much I should charge. Because at the time, I don't remember how much they were charging a client. I think it was $75, and then we would get 60% of that. And
Yeah,
I
I
was like,
was
that's
one of those
nothing.
kind of apps too. I can't remember. I do remember the name of it. I just remembered the name of it. I don't know if I should say it, but I did work for one of those companies before, and it was like $75. This was like in 2016, I think,
Yes,
maybe
that's exactly when it
2016,
was.
2017,
Yeah.
and it was like $75. And then it was just kind of a mess on the back end too with the calendar, like attaching my calendar, my
We may
availability.
have been on the same one.
Let's start
We
with
may
an S.
have been on the same one. Oh, we gotta talk after. Did it start with a V?
No, no, no.
Okay, then no,
It starts
maybe
with an
not.
S. Like it might be the
Okay, then it was
I don't know. But yeah, it was just a little bit of a mess. But how does the Glist app solve that problem of the pricing and
sure.
the availability and all of those things?
Yeah, so when you join the app as an artist, you list the services. We have a list of services available, but if you ever see that there's a service that you would like to be added or you don't see there, you can just contact us and we immediately add that service. But we have a list of services and there are four different categories: hair, makeup, nails, and spray tanning.
Okay.
And whatever service you offer, you can go in and you can say, hey, I'm offering this service, and then you add your price for that service. So that is your service, your price.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it tells you on the app when you first join, it says, okay, this is what you are asking for. This is your net take home. And it's just giving you a reference. And currently we have it set to a certain percentage.
Hey, what's up? I know you're enjoying the episode, but I have to put you on to Friends in Beauty's newest community, the Trailblazers Club. The Trailblazers Club is a place where success not only leaves clues, but becomes a tangible reality for beauty pros just like you. See, a lot of my friends in beauty are so talented and so skilled at what they do, but they lack the essential business skills that are needed to grow and sustain their businesses, or they lack the support that is needed to stay consistent to execute their goals. And that's exactly why I wanted to create the Trailblazers Club, to be able to support you on your journey. Exclusively inside of the Trailblazers Club, you will unlock expert led masterclasses and breakout sessions every single month, monthly Q&A and mentorship with me, your best friend in beauty, an exclusive and extensive network of beauty pros, support and accountability, unlimited access at that to the archive masterclasses, discounts on select Friends in Beauty events and classes, and so much more. And get this, y'all, it's only $25 a month. You heard that right. It's only $25 a month. But you know how Fat Joe said yesterday's price won't be today's price, or, that saying, that's exactly how it's going to be. So you might want to get in while you can. I'll go ahead and leave the link down below, and your fellow trailblazers are inside waiting for you, and we hope to see you soon. Let's go ahead and get back to the episode.
But we immediately, after you're approved and everything goes through, we set that percentage to zero because we don't want to charge you anything up, in the first year that you're with the app. So we make everything free for every user that's on it. We
For
want
the
you to
first
love it.
year?
Yes, we want you to
Wow.
love it. We want you to enjoy it. We want you to experience it because it is a different experience, and it's really, really easy to use. So you just go in, then you set up your profile pictures, like your portfolio, essentially, your best work, put it on display. Give us a blurb about you, like tell us what you're good at. What is it that you love about what you've done, in the past and all of that stuff. And then you set your availability. It's as simple as that. And then the next page, it's really about your settings. You set up your bank payout, where do you want to have the money go to? You go in there and you send us your verification because security is important to us for everyone on the app. So what we ask is you send us a selfie with ID and we verify that that's you. We've caught people that have no business of being on the app because their names didn't match to the ID that they have, or people that submit their selfie without an ID, we will not approve them because we want to make sure it's a safe environment for everyone. We want to make sure you are who you are, and we can run some, internal checks. There's enough information on the internet right now to know about someone, and we also snoop on your social media and make sure you are who you are.
Put me on the job because I'm the biggest investigator there is. Okay, I will find out whatever needs to be known for the app. Okay, I will find out everything about them.
I do. I really do. And so we we do all of that stuff, and then once everything is done, we send you a message saying, hey, your verification has been approved. It's an automatic message that you get once everything has been approved, and you can publish a profile. And we've had somebody told us that I signed up on this other platform that's not even a client-facing platform. It's just a backend CRM platform, a customer relationship management platform, and it took us a week to figure it out. It took me an hour to get myself set up on Glist. So they were like, thank you for doing this. I was like, yay, it's working. It's great.
We love simplicity. I consider myself a techie, just because I've
I
always
love
been
that.
into tech, but it's a lot of creatives that aren't techies. So to know that the process is seamless would be like a, a selling point for a lot of people because they don't even know the half of messing around with certain apps and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree. I feel like it has to be like your user interface has to be so that the person can go through it smoothly. There are no issues. And are we perfect? No, there are definitely things that pop up but we're constantly working on it. We're constantly correcting it and we're constantly building on it. So I don't think there is a single app that's perfect. I mean, even the very well-established apps out there still crash on you. So we're no different in that sense. I will say we haven't crashed. We have a very, very, very low crash rate, which is great. But we have other, for example, recently somebody said, oh, I'm getting an internal server error. I was like, why? Oh, internal servers are perfectly fine. What's happening? And it wasn't us. It was the person's credit card information. The security code was being entered incorrectly. But instead of stating that to the client, it was telling them it's an internal server issue. So we had to fix all of these things. So
wow.
We're not perfect, but we're getting there.
So were you in the tech space at all before you created this app?
Not at all. No.
So where
No,
does
not at
one
all.
start? Like, where do you even begin to, do you get a coach? Do you get a mentor or something? Like, how do you even start the process of developing this?
You just dive right into the rabbit holes. I don't know.
Because it's
I
like, you
feel
know
like
what you want. So you find somebody that
Mhm.
can do it and you can explain to them like, okay, these are all the features that I want. And then they can go on the back end and like do the code and all of those things.
I kind of wish it was that easy. So it wasn't that easy. It wasn't that straightforward. So my first person that I reached out to, I did the rookie mistake that anybody I guess into tech will do. And if I can save somebody from doing this, listen to this part. Don't just believe everything. So I went on, I don't remember if it was Upwork or if it was a
Like
different
Fiverr or
platform.
something like that.
Fiverr. Yes, thank you. I'm pretty sure it was Fiverr. I went on there. I was like, hey, I want to develop this app. I want to do this. And people responded to me, and I was like, oh, this person is really responsive. Let me see what they're about. And the person promised me everything under the sun. They were like, yeah, we can do it. 3 months. That's all it takes. I paid him some money, not all of it, some money up front, but even that sum was a huge amount of money. For me, at least at the time when I had no idea where I was going to go with this.
Mm-hmm.
And 3 months later, that person was still not even done. And all of a sudden, he got COVID. And then his next excuse was my mom got COVID, my dad got COVID, my brother got COVID. I'm like, why does that matter?
Are they developing the app or are you developing the app? Like, why do we care that they got COVID?
Oh my gosh,
Been three
it
months
was
already.
wild. Yes, it was wild. So I cut him loose after 3 months when he was like going down that path. 6 months later, he came back to me and he was like, oh, I'm back now. I would love to continue. And at that point, I mean, it was hard because I was like, okay, he already took X amount of thousands of dollars from
Mm-hmm.
me. And I was like, I was miserable during that time when he did all of that stuff. But 6 months later, I was able to laugh about it and be like, all right, you were joking, right? You came back 6 months later because you're running out of money. No, absolutely not. So
Right.
that was my very, very intro for women in tech. 101, do not do that.
Yeah.
So don't just find somebody on Fiverr. So I did the complete opposite with the second time around. I went on Upwork this time. I was like,
Okay.
oh, that looks a little bit more legit, let me find somebody within the US. So
Okay.
in case something happened, there are legal systems that will, protect me. I
Right.
can't, if you're overseas, nothing protects you.
Right.
But second time around, I actually found somebody local. I just wanted somebody in the US, but it turned out that that person was local, was here in Vienna, Virginia.
Nice.
And it
I
was it
think,
was
look, I
nice.
think
Well, you'll see.
because
I'll
this is
let you
number
be the
two. So
judge
I
of
know
it.
you say you went through four of them. So this is number two.
Exactly. Yes. So he promised me that he could do everything within 6 months. He could develop the app. He was a full stack developer, which means, back end, front end, he could do everything, UX, UI. So I was like, oh, this is great. He showed me a couple of apps. I vetted him through everything. And he was good at what he was doing. I'm not disputing it. Was his backend clean? Probably not,
Yeah.
because when I would ask him to make an update, it would take him way longer than it should, because
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that there were things that were hard coded that shouldn't have been hard coded, that should have been, um, everything should have been flown, there should have been a formula in place.
Mm-hmm.
But that's besides the point. That's my assumption right now, years later, looking back at it.
Yeah.
So he took a year and a half. This is 2021, 2022, beginning 2021. I think it was February something. He started with the process. 2022, June of 2022, we're doing a soft launch in Washington, D.C. We've invited all of these creatives, they're coming, they're to the soft launch. Most of them are makeup artists, hairstylists, photographers, um, rented this beautiful space. And we meet before the launch because he's my technical co-founder. Oh, he came up to me and we kind of mutually agreed. We're like, okay, how about instead of me paying you for this process, and he was, thinking the same way. He was like, I kind of want to be a technical co-founder if that's okay with you, and
Okay.
we discussed the percentage breakdown of what it should be, agreed on it, how to document in place everything. June 2022, we're sitting in a restaurant in Georgetown, and he is yelling at me like we're in some sort of abusive relationship. And I was like, this is a business meeting. What is happening right now?
Right.
What is going on? And his whole point was, I've been developing this app. I deserve 80% of the business.
Goodbye, sir.
Right?
Go play with somebody else. That's crazy.
Right. And he was like, putting in all of the work. I was like, I can't do any of the work until it's done. Like the business side, I can't promote this thing until people have it in their hand. What are you expecting me to do? I'm doing the analytics, I'm doing all of the back end, getting the emails ready, getting all of those stuff ready, but I can't do anything technical. This is why I brought you on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so finally he was like, well, fine, I'll settle for 50% as long as you take all of the financial risk. And you also pay me a salary. And I'm like, do you hear yourself?
That is insane.
Do you hear yourself, sir? And I mean, that day, that dinner, whatever it was just left such a bad taste in my mouth. And our app wasn't even live yet. And it was supposed to be live launch date, but it wasn't still. So
Uh-huh.
I'm like, I can't even rely on you to make deadlines, you know? Why do you think you deserve this much? And you said it would take you 6 months. We're a year and a half later and it's still
Right.
not done.
I
So
can see you
we
went above and beyond. You met all the deadlines. You were early. You did this, you did that. It's up for discussion, but you can't even do that.
can't even do that. Um, we get to the soft launch, and one of the people there asked him a question. They were like, "So, did you learn anything about beauty industry? Like, since you're building?" He was like, "No," like completely disassociated, disinterested. I'm like, I
Mhm.
need somebody who is passionate about this. I can't
Right.
have it like this. You know, this is you're not even passionate about it. You don't care about this enough, yet you want 50% of the company. Like, what is going on here?
He saw the potential. He saw the money in it.
And I never did it for the money. I still am not like, I did it for my reasoning was a whole different reasoning. And I think our values also didn't align in that sense.
Hmm.
Yes, the money will come. I feel like once you have a good product, the money will always come. But if you just focus on the money, you already failed.
Yeah.
So I feel like you got to focus on what you're doing. What value do you bring? What do you bring to the table? What are you doing here? You know, rather than focusing on the money and the end goal.
Right.
Um, but yeah, that was his primary goal. That was not my primary goal. So fast forward, we met with the lawyer and he was like super excited. Yeah, we're going to agree on 50%. And the lawyer looks at me and he's like, "Are you okay with that?" I was like, "Absolutely not." I was like, "I'm not." So he was like, "Will you be okay with walking away from everything that's been created? Because you can't take what he created for the past year and a half." And I said, "Absolutely, yes."
Hey.
I was done. I know my limits. And like I told you earlier, I'm a very straightforward person.
Hmm.
When I'm done, I'm done. You know,
Yeah.
that if you are capable of doing something this shady,
Before it's
pre-revenue,
even exactly.
what are you capable of doing after we hit it, you know, and we go with this? That's
Exactly.
just not the way to do business. And I'm like,
Yeah.
it's almost a shame that he did this because there was so much potential, but that set me back another year and a half.
Wow.
And then it took me a good month. I was like in the state of what am I doing with my life? Is
Hmm.
this really worth it? You know, I've
Yeah.
put in money doing Fiverr. I put in money on Upwork now. What am I doing here? You know,
Right. And you don't
should
have
I continue?
something to show for it.
Exactly. I have nothing to show for it. And I've been working on this for 2 years now and nothing to show for it. Um, so I must have cried to my brother at one point. Like, and I rarely ever cry. I'm not that kind of person, but I must have done it. And my brother was like, "Well, you know, I have like a company where we have developers and we develop apps." And it was like, "No, I don't know this. What
I
are
would have
you
came to
going
you
to tell me
first.
this? What this?" I think he's the brother who's like, "No, you figure things out on your own. You do it on your own first, and I want you to thrive and learn. And then if you absolutely can't, I'm gonna come and help you." And I'm like, I cannot believe you right now. Why would you do this to me? So, anyways, he told me, he was like, "Well, it's not going to be free. It's not a handout. You still need to
Mhm.
pay for the development and you need to pay for their salaries and everything, but here's the price." And I was like, "You know what? I'll do it because if anything, I can always go to my brother and complain to him because if things don't go right." But he removed himself so far from that whole situation. He was like, "I don't want them to even know that you're my sister. You know, you just
Uh-huh.
go in and do it. You know, I don't want that pressure to be on them, on that team." But yeah, that team started. So I broke up with the last developer, with my technical co-founder in June of um 2022. And I took a couple of months, and then starting September of 2022, I joined my brother's, you know, or I paid my brother's company and I got the
Uh-huh.
developers to do that. Fast forward to May of 2023, my brother is bad news bear and tells me that he sold his company and he's selling me as part of his contract to the new company. I'm telling you,
I'm about
women
to
in tech,
cry.
right? And
cry for you.
any sane person, anyone would be like, I'm done.
Mm.
I'm not doing this anymore. I'm over it. I'm not doing this. This is just too stressful. I have a great career, and it was a great career in government contracting.
Like, I have a great
I
career. I have a husband that loves me. I got my kids. I'm about to
What
just
am I doing? Yeah, what am I doing? And I'm like, no, I don't want to do this anymore. And my husband was like, but will you wake up 10 years from now? And will you say, I wish I had done this? I wish I had made a difference in that industry and I had made it better for everyone and empowered artists. Because that was my constantly, I was like, I want artists to have this. I really want them to feel empowered. I am tired of people ripping us off. I'm tired of people just taking advantage of us. I want to be the person that brings this fragmented industry together and
yeah.
gives artists a place to list their services, to list their, rates and keep their autonomy.
Yeah.
And he was like, will you be happy that you didn't do it? And somebody else comes in and they do it, but they do it for all the wrong reasons. I was like,
Mm.
no, no, I wouldn't. I would be very devastated if that
Yeah.
happened. So he was like, so you need to continue with it. He was like, as rough as it is, you got to keep seeing this through. He was
Yeah.
like, I just don't want you to live with regrets. And he's right. He was absolutely right. He's right then. He's right now. So the company that took me on a month later told me that they can no longer support me because they had no more developers left in the field that I was in.
I'd be like, at this point, I'm about to just go learn how to do my own app. I'm about to go back to school. I'm about to learn. This is crazy.
Seriously. And that's where I'm at right now. No, so I found we were at Disney in 2023. Every morning, 5 a.m., I got up and I would interview new companies before we would go out to the parks.
Mhm.
And we would come back at like 10 p.m., back to the room and everything, 9 p.m., 10 p.m., whatever time it was. 5 a.m., I would be back up interviewing new developers. I
Yeah.
was like, I am committed to this. I am dedicated to this. I gotta do this. I would sit on the balcony. Everybody would be sleeping or they would be waking up soon after. Um, yeah, and then that's how I found my current company. And so far, they have been wonderful. Um, I still would like to have a technical co-founder instead. So that's what my next step is. But somebody who's actually passionate about the industry, who understands the industry, who's lived through it, that is my ideal technical co-founder.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm on company number 4 now, and this is how I got there.
So company number 4 is how you actually got the app up and running, and now you have 1,000 users.
Yes, company number 3 did get me up and running.
Okay, they
So
did.
they did get me up and running, and company number 4 took it over, and we have since added new features, made it better and improved it
Yeah.
since the inception, March of last year.
Oh my God. I think what's really important about what you said, and we hear people say it all the time, but that your why has to be bigger than you.
Yes.
I feel like that's what I took away from what you said, because there's so many times we all feel the same way. We feel like, okay, this is not working. This must be a sign. Like, I'm one of those people, like, this
Yes.
must be a sign that I'm not supposed to do this. And I will take it as a sign. But when your why, the reason for you doing something is bigger than your existence, when you're doing it for people outside of yourself and you know the impact, like only you know. Like I have visions so big sometimes that I'm like, nobody else would get this. Only you know how it
Yeah.
feels. And I think that's like so important to have a why, the reason why you're doing something, whether it's just, even if it's just makeup, it has to
Yeah.
be bigger than, oh, I just want to make money, or it has to be bigger than just you as an individual in order for you to push through the hard times. Because girl,
A
I would have
hundred
been like, this
percent.
must be a sign. I'm not supposed to have an app
Right?
because it can't be this hard. Like, I'm just like one of those people, like, I just feel like when I do things, not to say that, you won't get hit with roadblocks, but I just feel like I'm one of those people that it's not supposed to be this hard. Like,
Oh, trust me, I was there 3 times before. I was like, that, I don't know if it's supposed to be like this. But to your point, and I actually gave a keynote on this exactly, and you hit it so on the nail because my keynote was actually named My Whys. And it was talking about how I started, how I went through every roadblock that there has been, and what has kept me going, which is the whys in my life.
Mhm.
And it's more than just, you know, like to your point, it's more than money. It's more than, oh, this is cute. I want to be like a CEO, founder of something. That's not it. I don't thrive on that. I actually, my team knows this. I tell them I'm the janitor of
I love
Glist. That really is my role. I fix anything and everything that comes up. I'm not like, I don't thrive on titles, but my why is truly to keep going and to make a difference in this industry, that I saw back in 2008. Gosh, I
it.
wanted to say 2018, 2008, where I was like, there has to be a better way. There
Yeah.
has to be a better way to give dignity to women where they just want to be in the comfort of their home and have somebody come to them. And there has to be a better way for artists, to feel like, oh, I can do this on this app, and not deal with the administrative side. But oh my God, I also keep my autonomy and I also keep, what I want to do, and I feel empowered using this app. I don't feel like I'm being charged monthly service charges or anything like that, which was very intentional. Like the
Yeah.
barriers to entry had to be minimal to none to
Hmm.
get in.
Yeah. Do you think this is a good place for new artists to start, or should they already kind of be established and have like a little bit of skill set in order to be on the app?
I feel like it's great for anyone. Honestly, I feel like it's great for new artists to start because somebody asked me, well, how do you determine if an artist is good or not? I'm like, well, the market will. The
Yeah.
clients will determine it, and by the reviews and everything. But it's also a way for existing artists who are already having all of their mechanisms in place that want to find or want to list their services in different places to
Mhm.
maybe get a further reach of clients, and clients like explore clients that they never knew that they could reach out to.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's great for anyone and everyone.
I think it's
And
great too.
because
Somebody's like relocating to a new city. I feel like that's a
yes,
great way to get new clients too.
absolutely. And I feel like we talked about this last year during a quick interview. Um, it's perfect for that nomad life that's become really popular during the
Yeah.
pandemic, where you're living out of, a RV and you're going from city to city because all you have to do on the app right now is change your zip code.
Hmm.
Eventually, you don't even have to do that. We're working towards that where it automatically recognizes where you are at and
Yeah.
then shows you to the people that are around you in that area. So I feel like it just opens up so many more opportunities for you as an artist.
I don't know why I just had like this vision of like Tinder or something like that, where you could like swipe through, like if you do have like a list of makeup artists, you could kind of swipe and
Oh, I like that.
match with
I
each other.
I love that. We want to integrate AI that kind of does that for users.
Hmm.
That's our next big step. And we all know AI is everywhere and
Yeah.
everything right now. Where based on your views of certain portfolios, certain pictures, it will then show you, hey, you may like all of these other artists that are near you. So it takes out the guesswork for you as a client,
Yeah.
and it makes it even more convenient to book somebody.
I love.
So yeah, there's great things ahead.
Yeah, I know that you all give autonomy to the artist, but what if there's an artist where they don't necessarily know where to start as far as their rate? Because I'm
Mhm.
imagining if you do go on, even if you pulled up Washington, D.C., I would imagine if you're scrolling through, you'll see a variety of different
Yes.
rates and everything like that. Do you think, like, do you all give any suggestions or a place to start, or is it you think it's based off of location and all of those
Yes.
things?
We currently don't. We don't give any suggestions because we truly feel like autonomy is everything. And we feel like you, as an artist, know where you are at in your career better than anyone else knows.
Hmm.
And that goes, what's in your kit, your expenses, what it has taken you to get to where you are. And I
Hmm.
feel like you should have the right to decide what your rate is, just because statistically, maybe in your area they charge $80, but maybe you are at $150
Right.
level. And there's always a client for everyone. I feel like people say, oh no, I'm priced too high. As long as your work that you have listed speaks to what you're charging, you
Mm-hmm.
should be good to go. And
Yep.
I think that's my biggest advice. Look at your work and compare your work to other people's. Not in that sense of like, let me do a comparison or anything, but look at your work and look at what you're charging compared to the next person up. Because we have artists on the app that charge $900. But their work, I would pay the $900 for their work, and
Yeah.
I'm a makeup artist myself, but I would still pay their $900. But
Yeah.
then we have artists that charge $100. And I'll be like, maybe you should go a little bit lower, just a tiny bit, to
Yeah.
get those clients because maybe you're not quite there yet. And this is a way for you to improve your skills too, and get better pictures and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of, it's hard to tell people where they should be. And I hate doing it.
Yeah.
We are talking to a company currently, and I can't talk too much about it, where we may integrate a way there that it tells you that, and again, this is early stages of the conversations. We're looking at our APIs and how we can integrate everything into the app, but where we can maybe integrate, they have statistics on salons and what they charge in specific zip codes, where
Yeah.
we can suggest a price to an artist.
Yeah.
Now, the difference is ours is at home on demand, where I always think it's a little bit of a premium added to it because,
Mhm.
again, you're going to somebody's house,
I
it
always
saves the
tell
person
people, I'm
that
like, I'm risking my life in traffic to come do your makeup. You have to pay me for
exactly.
that.
Exactly. Yes, yes,
Anything can
absolutely.
happen. Anything can happen to me on the way. Like,
I fully agree with you. Yeah. And I mean, we do have, when it comes to the travel part, we have a way where it automatically adds the travel fee to the client's total.
hmm
So you don't have to, it takes the guesswork out for you and takes that awkward conversation out for you with the client too. Oh, what's this? That's a travel charge, and
yeah.
all of that stuff. But yeah, I agree with you. I feel like it is a premium. If I can, again, I go back to my sandwiches. If I pay $30 for $8 sandwich, people will be paying for beauty coming to their doorstep as well.
Exactly. So the app is free,
Yes,
and people who sign up, they don't get charged any service fees for a year.
yes, correct. Yes.
Y'all better hop
For
on this. I have so many people I'm going to share this with. I have one person in particular I have in mind because she literally just asked me the other day about booking clients. She does mainly editorial photo shoots and stuff, but now she wants to get into booking like regular clients. I'm gonna tell her to
yeah,
download this app and put her stuff on there for sure.
yeah,
Under the makeup portion, do you give people the option to list if they do like bridal too?
yes,
Okay.
absolutely. There's a bridal service. You can create your own package. Let's say you are like a person reached out to you and they said, "Hey, I'm a bride. I have 6 bridesmaids. Can you create a package? Is there
Mhm.
something I can book?" They can individually book each person, or you can
Yeah.
create a package for them so they can just book it. And then you can delete the package after your booking is done. You don't have
Nice.
to keep it on
Nice.
there
Okay.
forever. Yep. So
I,
yeah, there's a
yeah.
lot of flexibility on the app.
I totally forgot to. I know you told me at the makeup show, but I can't remember. What does Glist stand for? What is it? The name?
Glist is the short for glisten. So that's why there are like these 3 stars
Oh,
afterwards. We all deserve to glisten and we all deserve accessibility, and all of that stuff that comes with glistening. Like look at you, you're glistening right now. It's beautiful. We all glisten. Um yeah, but it's honestly it's a made up word.
hmm
And it was because my lawyer hated the last name for it. And he was like, you gotta shorten this. This is way too long, and you
Okay.
cannot get it trademarked.
Gotcha.
The previous name that we have. Now,
Listen.
there's so many things to think about when you start a business, the trademark and everything too.
Yeah.
So he was like, come up with a word. And the previous technical co-founder also hated the previous name. So he was out of the picture by the time I incorporated Glist, and but it came about because 2 people were against what I had previously. And we were driving down in Maryland, the back roads, the Frederick, Maryland kind of back roads.
Uh-huh.
Um, and it was super hilly and everything. And I looked at my husband and was like, I don't know. I feel like I want to glisten. And I was like, but glisten is such a like overused like word. And what about glist? I was like,
Hey.
oh, I like it.
What?
It's a one syllable. It works. I can trademark it. We're good to go. There you go.
Mhm. I love that. Yeah, so many moving parts with business and everything. I know well, you don't have inventory, but when it comes to having an app, what are those kind of things that you do have that we probably just don't know about?
You mean in terms of traction or like
Or
keeping?
just like tracking things. Like if you had a makeup product, you would have to worry about fulfillment and a fulfillment
Mhm.
center. But what are the moving parts behind an app that you have to worry about on like a daily basis to like to keep it running or to have people be able to book and put stuff on there
Yeah, a
to
lot
get
of marketing,
okay.
a lot of marketing behind it. I feel like that's the same with goods, where you have to constantly remind people that we exist, we're out here, and all of that stuff. So that's part of it. Also tracking your downloads, tracking your user base, tracking the number of times somebody opens up the app, the number of times they go on it, how many people book somebody, how many artists stay on the app, how many artists leave the app, all of that stuff. So there's a lot of data that we track, a lot of heat maps. Where are we located? Where are our artists currently? And we have artists in 26 states currently.
Okay.
Um, doesn't mean anything when you only have one artist in a state, but we are in 26 states. I think we have most artists in the DMV, the DC, Maryland, Virginia region,
Uh-huh.
where we have a large number of our artists here. But yeah, it's all of the stuff that you have to track on a daily basis. And then that goes into that. And then also keeping up with the app itself, making the updates, making features easier, taking in like recommendations from artists, from clients. Like clients give us recommendations all the time. And I love those. I live for those where they're
Yeah.
like, hey, we would love to see this, build in. This would make our life easier. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
immediately talk to the developing team. And we have sprints. If you're familiar with the tech industry,
Hmm.
we work based on a sprint. So each sprint lasts or should technically last about 2 weeks, but then we get hot fixes in between where a sprint may take longer. And a sprint is essentially these are the features I want this month, or these are the updates that I want to have, I want to see, and then the technical team that works on those changes.
Yeah.
So there's all of that stuff that goes into it. And then the stuff that people don't see is raising money. So fundraising.
Yeah.
Um, that's the hardest part. I want to say that is the hardest part. And we have had people ask us, well, why haven't we seen you guys? Why haven't we heard about you? Like, I only have X amount of dollars that I can spend on marketing.
Hmm.
I can't be everywhere and anywhere yet.
Yeah.
But that's why we are fundraising to really be everywhere and anywhere. So yeah.
Ooh, I love this. I'm thinking about developing an app one day. If if I do go that route and I hit a good developer on the first try and I
Well,
don't
you
have
can just come to me because I have recommendations now. I like the company I'm working with.
okay, good. But like how much should I expect or one, either me or anybody that wants to develop an app, how much should I expect to invest in a developer and then also to have on hand for just like the monthly expenses that go into like running the app, like approximately.
Okay, so this really depends on where your developer is located,
Okay.
how you bring them on. Are they going to be a technical co-founder? Are you guys doing a split share, of the business? Are you promising them a monthly salary? All of that stuff. But
Because they
let's,
continue to stay, because they have to stay with you.
right,
Okay.
exactly.
Got
Yeah,
you.
so if you brought in a technical co-founder and you guys go 50-50 from the very get-go and you guys both agree nobody takes a salary or cut or anything until there is profit coming in. For me, it's not even revenue, it's profit. Um, and then if you guys agree on that there's really very, very minimal costs,
Right.
because you really just have the hosting costs and you just have the cost of making sure your firewall is in place, all of that stuff, your emails, your usual business stuff. But let's say it doesn't pan out that way and you do need a developer. If you are looking for somebody here in the US and you have to pay them, you're looking for upwards of 10,000 a month. If you're looking for overseas, it's about 10 to 20% of that.
Okay.
That's just the monthly That's just the monthly maintenance, not the
Right,
development part.
right. Ooh.
This is just on the monthly maintenance side. If you do the development, even if it's overseas, you can look at least like 5 to 10 grand a month when you
Mhm.
want it to get off the ground and everything. So it's not cheap.
Yeah,
And that's why I'm like, what am I doing with my life? Because we're
girl,
still not
I was
revenue
just still caught
generating.
up in a corner somewhere.
We're not revenue generating yet. We're not at that point. But again, it's my why. I'm doing this for the industry. I'm doing this
Yeah.
for the fellow makeup artists, for everybody else that wants accessible beauty, So,
Yeah.
and it will take time. And one thing everybody was telling me from the very beginning, it also depends on the app. I mean, you may be having a complete different app that's not a marketplace and I can take off like this.
Yeah.
So it really depends. Marketplaces just take forever
Got you.
to take off.
Got
It's just the nature of them. Yeah,
Do you still actively doing makeup?
I do. I still actively do makeup. I get booked through the app.
Oh,
So
nice.
the app does the admin side for me, so I don't have to worry about it.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I do still get booked for makeup. The funniest one that my mom has booked me throughout the years, obviously not through the app, but recently she needed to get her makeup done. I'm like, no, you book me through the app, mom. And she's like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing any of this.
But that's
So,
going to solve a lot of problems because I was literally just having this conversation with a couple of my girlfriends. One's a hairstylist, the other one's a makeup artist, and we were talking about how tacky we think it is for like friends, like a homegirl of
yes,
yours, to ask you for a discount for your services. Like it's like if you want to give a discount, that's fine. But we have a lot of family members, of course, or people that
yes.
known us forever that just think that they're entitled to a discount. So I feel like with using the Glist app, it's like, oh no, like just book me through the app. Like this is what it is. Like it's no
Yep.
questions asked. The price is there. Don't ask any questions.
100%. And one of the artists that's on the app, she is so funny. She's listed her services on the Knot. She's on social media, but anybody that ever contacts her for her prices, she refers them to the Glist app. She was like, you got to download the app and you got to book me through there because she just doesn't want the negotiation part. She's like,
Mm,
I'm done with people negotiating. They go to the app, they book me. If they truly like me, they'll do it. And that's what I mean with like the app solves that issue too. It's like no more of that back and forth, the haggling, the
yeah,
give me a discount, none of that stuff. And it just makes it easier. And exactly for friends and family,
yeah.
it's that awkward conversation of, well, are you going to pay me or am I doing this for free? Because a discount usually means like 90% off and you're just going to give me a tip or something.
Right.
Like, let's be real.
I don't even think my friends have ever tipped me. I'm like, they do play whatever price I give them, but I don't know if they
Yeah.
ever tip me. Hmm.
Yeah, see, and that's the other thing on the app, they will be asked to tip you at the end of the session when you hit booking complete.
Yeah,
And what do we know our clients do best? They're always on their phone as we
yeah.
do their makeup. It actually gets a message pops up and says, Aquia is done with your session. Would you like to tip her? And then it tells them, would you like to leave an 18, 20, or 22.5% tip? And just like at a coffee shop, when we pay $3 coffee, we give them a 25% tip.
Hmm.
After this is an actual service industry, and it reminds people it's a service industry. You still need to tip. And a lot of people don't even know that.
Yeah,
So they can just go on the app and the whole thing, I don't have cash to tip you, all goes out the window.
yeah,
And on the back end, the artist always, always, always gets 100% of the tip. We never take anything. We'll pay for the fees, but we'll
yeah,
never take anything from you.
yeah.
So yeah,
That's
so
great.
that solves that too.
Yeah, because I've always been curious to like if it was a I don't know the word for it, but sometimes people tip me and sometimes they don't. If they don't tip me, I don't necessarily feel any way about it because my rate
Right.
is at a point where it's like if you tip me, that's
You
like
covered.
wonderful. Like you got money. Like if you tip me
Yes.
after you just pay for the service. But I've always wondered with makeup artists in particular, if people even realize that yes, we do take tips because a lot of
Yes.
people don't they don't tip. I think they tip hairstylists, of course, but makeup artists, I've always wondered how they felt about like not getting a tip, if they felt like they were supposed to, or if they're just like okay with it.
Yeah, I feel like it's also a cultural thing. We are just
It's true too.
in the mindset that, oh, that is their business, that why should we give them more, than what they're already charging us? But I'm like, no, I am this is still a service industry. And yes, it's to your point, it's not the end of the world if you don't tip me. My rate is where I can be happy with walking away with what I have. But if
Hmm.
you do, you acknowledge that it is a service industry, that just like a hairstylist, just like an esthetician, you should still be tipping. But I
Yeah.
feel like culturally, when we talk to each other about these things, or clients talk to each other, no, I never tip, it just we forget sometimes,
Yeah.
that is still very much so the practice, even in this industry. And I
Yeah.
don't blame clients. Again, that's a cultural change that we're trying to tackle down. And that's exactly why we have that message at the end. Hey, would you like to leave a tip? Now they can say other and leave nothing. And that's totally okay too. We're not forcing you. We're not holding a gun to your head that you have to tip. But it's kind of like a little nudge and reminder, kind of like the coffee shops have trained us,
Yeah.
where they're like, would you like to leave a tip? That didn't exist 5 years ago.
Right.
You would pay for your coffee and you would leave. And now anywhere that you go, you're like, oh, hold on. Yeah, this is
Whether
a
the
service
service is
industry
good or
too.
bad, that little automation is still will pop up and ask if you want to leave a tip.
And then they stare you dead in the eye if you don't. And you're like, well,
And I'll
you
stare at them
do.
right back and put zero. Okay. Don't play.
I love it. Yes, I will do the same thing, especially if they just literally just poured black coffee into a cup. I'm like,
Yeah.
no,
Like
you,
no.
you didn't bring it to the table or anything like that. But it has trained us to recognize it's a service industry that I didn't associate with,
Yeah.
years ago. I was like, coffee is different than waitering, but now we're like, no, actually, they're in the same category.
Service.
And I
Yeah.
feel like the same is happening for makeup. People
Mm-hmm.
just don't categorize it the same way.
For sure. For sure. Are you from Virginia? Are you from?
I was born and raised in Germany. So
Oh, cool.
yeah, I moved to Northern Virginia. When we moved here, we moved to Maryland, then we moved to Southern Virginia, then we moved to Northern Virginia, all in 2002, I want to say. 2001,
Wow.
2002 time, yeah. So I've been here for a while. I consider myself a Virginian now.
Yeah. Were your parents
And
like in the military or something?
no, my parents were refugees. They
Okay.
were refugees from a different war. So they fled. My both of my parents are from Afghanistan. So they
Hmm.
fled the war in the 80s,
Wow.
for stability and better future for their kids. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Wow.
And
Did,
then
did they expect you all to go into more traditional routes of employment? Like, because my family, I feel like it's just a thing when your family is like I don't know, foreign. I say foreign because I
mhm.
don't even know other word. My family's from Jamaica, so it's like anytime you have
Nice.
those kind of dynamics, they expect you to be like a doctor, a lawyer, a scientist, or something more stable to like as a career.
Yeah, I'm sure the expectation would have been there. I lost my dad when I was 14.
Okay.
So my mom was raising 5 kids on her own. I think all of those expectations went out the door. Um,
Mm.
and when that happened, I think, yes, we consider ourselves brown kids. So for us brown families, brown kids being raised in a brown household, you're either a lawyer, a doctor, or I don't know. I think those are the two really traditional jobs
Yeah.
where they like, you made it if you're a lawyer or you're a doctor. And I still hear it to this day, oh, so and so is a doctor. And I'm like, well, that's great. I'm happy for that person.
The
That's just not
student
my career
loans.
path. Yes. And they love that. That's what they're passionate about. And I'm excited for them. But our trajectory was just different, after
Yeah.
losing my dad. Um, it was a whole different, I had to grow up really, really fast and supporting my mom and my two younger brothers,
Yeah.
when we moved here. Yeah, I haven't had it easy. Let's put it that way. And I
Mhm.
feel like uh, if my dad was alive, I probably would be considered right now like, oh, why are you doing this? Why you're not a lawyer? Why you're not
Yeah.
a doctor? But my mom is just happy that she raised kids that are have a good head on their shoulder, let's put it that way.
Yeah, and I'm sure that, that grit has shown up in your persistence with your business, even though you didn't have it easy. I just feel like those life experiences, they show up in other kind of ways in our lives when we have to be a little bit more assertive and speak our minds and get things done and, make
Yes,
stuff happen.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. I fully agree with that. I mean, I came, I always remind myself when I have hard days, I mean, really hard days, and I'm like, what am I doing, with my life? And as an entrepreneur, you know this, you probably run through this at least 10 times a day where you like question your entire existence and why you're doing what you're doing.
At least
And then
once
the
a
next
month.
thing, right? And then the next day, everything is fine again. For me, it's like on a weekly basis at this point, but
Yeah.
it's it's just part of it and I enjoy it, but I always remind myself where I came from. I'm like, I was that little girl who was standing at the bus stop, getting myself through college, not having a quarter to pay for the bus,
Mm-hmm.
and literally looking on the ground for that 25 cents to pay for my bus fare.
Yeah.
And that's why for me, the barriers to entry, I feel like it all goes back into bliss. It is so important that I don't charge people
Mm.
to be on this app because I want it to be free because there's probably somebody super, super, super talented, but they can't afford a monthly platform fee,
Yeah.
you know? So why take that away from that? That little girl in me, years ago, if I had this and I had this talent back then, but I didn't have a platform fee that I could afford, I wouldn't be able to join something like this. And I'm
Right.
like, I want to make this as accessible as possible. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like it all just feeds into it. And then to your comment about the sandwich again on DoorDash, I'll keep going back to that. You said, oh, sometimes you're like, yeah, no, I don't want to buy this anymore.
Uh-huh.
I've been told by multiple different people or potential investors why I'm not charging on the client side. Why am I not charging a fee on the client end? I'm like, it's such a turnoff when I go to checkout and I have $500 in my card and I get hit with that $15 shipping fee. And I'm
Yeah.
like, nope, 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 I'm not paying. I'm not paying.
Or
This
you
should
just
be
see
free.
all the
I'm having
different
way too
fees that
much.
are
Yeah,
listed. You're like, what is that? I didn't even know that type of fee existed. Like you just see all these
exactly.
different things. Yeah.
Exactly. So again, it goes back to like the barriers and the accessibility. That's just
Yeah.
not something that I want to do.
Yeah, for sure. I did have a question about collaboration
Yeah.
because I want to circle back to you telling us about Ashunta and
Yeah.
education and everything. How do you, first of all, I want to know how that went, but first, like, how do you go about successfully collaborating with people to make something like that happen? Because that's one thing I do want to do with Friends in Beauty is to
Mhm,
start offering education. Like I have my
mhm.
membership community and I swear we sound like the same person. My membership community is not free, but it is a very low cost right now
Yes.
because I do know the feeling of I've invested in several coaches before, like 5 figures, and I've
Yes.
invested in myself, and I know the feeling of I never had the money for real. I never had the money when
Yeah.
I invested in them. I found it, but I do know what that feels like when you do want to
Yeah.
push the needle forward or you want to excel in your business and all you're really lacking is access to information or access to the
Yes.
people to connect you. So I have my membership community, but I do want to offer education. But I feel like anytime that I try to, or people reach out to collaborate with me, literally never happens. Like it never comes to fruition. So I'm like, how do you successfully collaborate? That
So yeah. Wow. Okay.
was a lot.
So yeah, I love that you were thinking of the same ways as I am, and I love that community. And I actually just listened to your podcast earlier too, and I heard about the community. I was like, I gotta join this. This is awesome because it is very accessible. I recommend it to anyone and everyone.
Yeah.
Um, but in terms of collaboration, I feel like persistency. You gotta just see it through. And I feel like when I met Ashunta in December of last year at the holiday makeup show
Yeah.
in New York, we had a booth. She had a booth. It was my first time I met her. I had no idea who she was. I didn't know, and I didn't even know she had a booth. there. I thought she had just come up, she was a visitor, whatnot. And I saw her, we just connected instantly. It was just, there's something between us. There was like
And
a
she's very
spark went
magnetic.
on. Oh my God, she has like this aura about her that is just so beautiful and you can feel it. It's like I said earlier, she's fierce, but she's so kind, and she has that same vibe. She's direct, and I feel like I can be comfortable talking to her.
Yeah.
And I think we were just talking, and one thing led to another. I don't even know how it happened. And she was like, you know what? We need to bring education. I think I may have told her about education. She was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do education. Let's put it together.
Yeah.
Honestly, the first time she said that, I felt like, I was like, yeah, this is a nice thing to say to someone. It's never going to happen. It's
Mhm.
not actually going to happen. In my mindset, in my jaded mindset, because I've had all of these developers already that
Mhm.
set me up for failure, every time. So I was like, oh, this is really kind of her to even say it. I felt honored, that
Yeah.
she even said that. And I told my husband, I was like, oh my God, this is so sweet. And then I asked her again, and she was like, no, once I say something, I mean it.
Yeah.
I'm with it, And I was like, okay, this may actually happen. So for months, I had no idea. I was like, maybe, maybe not. And we started meeting consistently. We're doing like weekly meetings. And then
Gotcha.
um, she got an agent. Crowd management is her agency, Jamili. He's
Yes.
CEO. Love
I
him. Love
can't wait to
everything
get
that
him
he
on the
does.
show one day. He's great.
Yes, you should. You should. He's wonderful. Um, so she was like, well, I got to talk to EJ about it. Now I was freaking out. I was like, what if he says, no, you can't do this, And what I didn't think about was, what if he brings a complete different angle to this and brings all of his expertise into it? That
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that. In my first meeting with EJ, I was blown away. I was like, okay, I immediately called my husband up. I was like, I think this is happening. Because I told my husband, I was like, I think I'm meeting with EJ because EJ is going to tell me, hey, listen, this is my client. I don't want her to be doing this. And I was
Mhm.
expecting that. That was like my mindset. I don't want her to be going down this path. This is not what I envisioned for her. This
Yeah.
is the path that we're taking. No, my first meeting with him was like, yes, we're doing this. This is the time. And I was like,
I love
I could
it.
just scream. And one thing led to another. And I think that was back in March. And we set a date down. We're like right after the makeup show. We decided on everything and we stuck to it. We did it. We figured it out. We collaborated in a collaboration. We worked together to find the production company to do all of that stuff. Each person had their own role to
Mhm.
fulfill and we all did what we were supposed to do. And it's just beautiful when collaborations come together and you actually see that happening. But
Yeah.
yeah, it is a lot of nervousness. It's a lot of, is it going to happen? Is it not going to happen? And a lot of staying on top of it. Like, let's
Nice.
actually make this happen. Yeah.
I love that. So where does the lesson was it a makeup like lesson
Yeah. So
demo on a
Ashunta,
model?
yes, it was
Okay.
4 different models. We
What?
just, we recorded it in her studio in New York, 4 different models. You get 4 completely different classes. So there is an old Hollywood look, there's a cut crease look, there is an avant-garde, like, what do you call it? Editorial look. And there is gosh, I should know this on top of my head. I can't remember the fourth one.
That's
Editorial.
fantastic though.
Yes, it is beautiful. I have to let you know what the fourth one is, but there was like 4 different looks for a
Mhm.
gorgeous, gorgeous. Oh, a skin. The fourth one was like all about skin and,
Yeah.
making yourself look really, really pretty just with everything that you have. It was magical. When it all came together, it was such a magical moment. Working with crowd management, working with Ashunta was just such an amazing experience.
Yeah.
And they're going to be 4 different classes. We're going to host them on the Glist app.
Okay.
They will be released sometime in September, TBD.
Hmm.
And we want artists who are on the app to enjoy them at a hopefully discounted rate. And then people who just want to get education, learn different education. Because yes, while there are free YouTube tutorials out there, they don't go into the depth of why, the whys behind everything. It all goes back to the whys. And her experiences on different sets, which is so interesting. When she talks about, I was on uh
What,
oh my
Empire?
God, Empire. I was on Empire. I was on this set. I was on that set. And this is what I learned from this person. And this is what I learned from that person. And I learned this from Sir John and all of this. Like it's like
Nice.
you're just like, oh my God, this is what I want to pay for, I want to get this information that nobody else has. And there's just so much in there. And I as a seasoned makeup artist, I like to think I'm a seasoned makeup artist. I learned so much from her. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, there's never enough education when it comes to the beauty industry because everyone has their own ways. But even if you pick up one or two things from one person and you improve your art by 1%, that is like you multiply that every single day, you out there, like you can do great things. And
Yeah.
Ashunta is one of those people. I feel like she has everything going for her in terms of artistry. Like she can make a burlap look like a supermodel. I swear. Like she can put up makeup on anything and it looks amazing. So
Yeah.
yeah, we're
That
we're
is
excited.
that is really exciting. Y'all are in for a treat. If y'all don't download this app like right now,
Yes,
like,
yes, please
I'm so
do.
excited for you. One thing I did want to tell you too is that I absolutely love your Instagram. Do you have a social media person or are you on there yourself? Like on the Glist App?
No, I do have a social media
Okay.
person, Avery. She takes care of like all of the different contacts and all.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk on a daily basis. We have a huddle every morning and we talk about everything and what's going out, what there should be. And
Mm.
she's in a lot of the videos herself.
Okay.
Um, and she does a fantastic job. She is a
The
beauty
content is
enthusiast.
like so good.
Oh, I will let her know that you said it, and
Yeah.
it'll make her so happy. Yeah, thank you.
You're
And she
welcome.
is phenomenal at what she does. Yeah,
Oh man, I'm telling you, being a business owner is not for the faint of heart. Like it's just so many things and it tests you as a person, it tests your faith, it tests your confidence, it just everything.
daily, daily. Yes.
Man, oh man. Have you thought about what you want your legacy to be as far as the beauty industry and with you creating the app? Like what you want to be known for, remembered, or when people talk about Avista, they're like, oh
Oof,
yeah, like
that's it. That's a tough one because I don't, like I said, I think of myself as a janitor. I don't think of
mhm.
myself as a legend or having leaving a legacy behind or anything like that. I mean, if I'm being known as the janitor for Glist, I'll be happy at the end of the day. But ideally, I would love the legacy to be somebody put the beauty industry and that was very fragmented back together, made it whole again,
Mhm.
and gave artists a voice and clients anywhere and everywhere accessibility. That would be the legacy that I would love to leave behind.
Yeah,
That would be so, so important to me.
yeah.
Yep.
I love that. Is there anything that's coming up that you can share? Anything that's coming up next that you can share that's not top secret?
Um, I mean, the classes, so
Hmm.
stay tuned for those. Those are coming up next. Um, we are doing a complete website remodel. So if you're going on our website right now and you're like, what in the world? Why is this person in tech? I know, I understand. It's terrible. We're having somebody that's going to completely redo our website and everything, so I can share that.
Okay.
Everything else, the other companies, other things that we're working on right now, I can't really talk about too much yet because there are things in the works.
Yeah.
But you just have to stay tuned, follow us on social media, and you'll have to see.
Yeah, I can't wait. Oh my gosh. I feel like anytime that I get somebody that I want to talk to, I just feel like I could talk to you all forever. I'm doing this thing now with the podcast where I've been doing, I just celebrated, actually the day of the makeup show was my 4-year anniversary when I met you at the podcast.
I listened to your
Yeah.
podcast.
Oh my God. So like
Yeah.
I'm starting to get back to the
Yeah.
people that I want to talk to, because a lot of people have, or just over the years, reach out because it's a beauty podcast. I get all types of brand owners and people that
Mhm.
reach out. Sometimes they're boring, sometimes they're great people. I don't want to talk about anybody, but I just feel like I just feel so good after the interviews when I talk to people that I literally just want
Oh,
to talk to and learn more about. So I appreciate you
I
so
love
much
that.
for
Oh, thank
coming.
you.
You're
It was
welcome.
meant to happen when you stopped at our booth and David was like, "Hey, you gotta talk to her. She's got such a good vibe, you gotta talk to her." He was like, "I think she has a podcast. You should just, tell her more about Glist. I already did my best." I was like, "Okay, all right."
Appreciate you, David.
Shout
But
out to
look,
David.
before you go, I have to ask you the Friends of Beauty rapid fire questions. Don't think you got
Oh,
away from
okay.
it.
Ah.
So whatever comes
All
to
right.
your mind first, you can spit it out. If you need to elaborate, you can elaborate. So
Okay.
the first one is, what are the top 3 keys to your success so far?
Persistency, um, being organized
Mm,
in my approach, and I think persistency really is never giving up, but also having a vision board and knowing what you want your future, what you want for Glist in the long run, and not focusing on the wrong things.
yeah.
So those are my top 3 things. Yeah.
Okay. How do you measure your success?
I'm a data person. Um, I look at data and analytics and I see what have I done. I set goals and I want
Mhm.
to achieve those goals. Um, and I feel like that's how I measure my success, but I also measure it by the connections that I make, the collaborations that I make. And I have to remind myself, when I went into this full time last year, when I quit my job in June of last year, corporate America, I said
Uh-huh.
bye to that. A year, I feel like at the beginning of the year, I was kind of like, well, what have I done? What have I achieved? And David was like, you need to calm down. You've done more. And the 6 months since you've left corporate, it's not necessarily the data that's there that's showing you, but you have to see all of the connections that you have made so far, all of the
Yeah.
collaborations that you have ahead. So I think I can get lost in data often, but I also have to appreciate and cherish the small things that are out there.
Yeah, for sure. I love that. And I love just having people around you that could bring you back to and be like, no, you're
Yes.
tripping. Like you actually have been doing some things. You might not
Oh,
see it
yeah,
yet, but you're putting the things in order to set yourself up. So yeah.
absolutely. Yep.
Next one, what is the best advice you've ever received, or a piece of advice that's just like always stuck with you?
Um, I think it was what David said, would you be happy to leave everything behind?
Hmm.
And 10 years from now, you would look back and you'll be happy with yourself. I
Yeah.
feel like I continued my journey in this based on that advice or based on that nugget of information,
Hmm.
and just wake up in the morning and say, would I be okay with just walking away from it all today? And I feel like that's kept me going too.
Yeah. For
Yeah.
sure.
You just have to have a really good conversation with yourself sometimes and
Hmm.
ask yourself that, what would you be happy with?
Yeah.
So,
And figure
yeah.
it out. Yeah. We can go on and on. What
Yeah.
what advice would you give to another beauty brand owner, or a beauty brand owner who is just not seeing the results that they want in their business and they're ready to like give up? Maybe they hit some few roadblocks and people keep playing with them and they're just like, you know what? This is a sign. Okay. I'm not supposed to do this. What advice would you give them?
Ask yourself what your why is, why you started it.
Hmm.
Why did you start what you were doing? And are you still focused on that why? And do you still want to continue to go towards that why?
Hmm.
Um, because I think oftentimes, yes, roadblocks can be a sign, but it could also be maybe we need to take a different angle. And that's the other thing I would ask them. Have you tried this other angle? Have
Yeah.
you tried every angle that there has ever been? before you call it quits.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like only then, only if you've tried everything, every possible way, then you can confidently walk away from something. But I feel like I can guarantee you're not there. You've not tried everything.
Right.
Just keep going. Just keep going. Just try it a different way. It's like throwing pasta against the wall and
Mhm.
seeing what sticks. See what sticks, find out what sticks, and go from there. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. What is a resource that helps you in your business that you could share with the friends and beauty community?
What does like a resource in terms of something that
Anything.
helps me go?
Yeah, that
Anything?
helps you do whatever. I don't know. We already
Okay.
talked about like Fiverr, or right? We talked about
Oh,
like a resource.
okay. Um, I mean, when it comes to technical things, I like Trello. It keeps me on track.
I use
I
Trello too.
Yay! I love Trello. It's so good. It keeps me on track. It has all my to-dos, all my dones, everything, like working on it. Everything is in one place, and I can collaborate with our technical team way, way easier that way.
Mhm.
Um, we did switch to Jira, which is very similar to Trello. It
Uh-huh.
does exactly the same thing, just different layout. So something like that, especially when you're collaborating with somebody, is really, really important. But
Yeah.
I feel like for me personally, something that keeps me going sometimes is listening to business podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a nerd for business podcasts. I'm an econ nerd too, and I love listening to anything business related.
Okay.
And there's some there's some podcasts. I don't know if I can give them a
You can
shout
say
out
them.
here.
Yeah.
Okay. There are two that I absolutely love and appreciate. One is How I Built This, and
Okay.
I'm sure you're familiar if you're in
Yeah.
the business world. Um, it just goes through what we see from businesses, we only ever see the tip of the iceberg. We never see anything that's below and all the work that has gone into it. But
Mm-hmm.
when you listen to their stories and you listen to each one of these companies and the adversities that they had to face and the challenges that came up, you'll be like, wait, what? There was a potential that this never existed. This is huge.
Yeah.
And yet you made it through everything. And I feel like I listen to it because it gives me that boost, Bill. Because I'm like, oh my God, Bieber was supposed to fail, and here they are. So it's just like, those are the podcasts that keep me going. And then Business Wars is another one.
Business
Absolutely love
wars.
Business Wars. That
Okay.
is more of like two big companies competing against each other and how they did and what their challenges and their fights were and everything like that. It's super interesting. So it just keeps me going. And my kids, they
Mm-hmm.
keep me going. Those are my
Okay.
like everything. So I look at them like I do it for you guys. I want you guys to be proud of mommy one day
Mm-hmm.
and see me working. And they tell everyone their Target has their own brand, Good and Gather.
Okay.
And their G is kind of like the Glist G. And every time they see a Good and Gather product, they go like, "Oh my God, Glist!" I'm like, I wish it's not.
So cute.
But it's what keeps me going. I'm like, they get so excited and they know everything about Glist and they love it. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Little brand
those are the things.
ambassadors. I love it.
Yes.
It's so cute. Oh,
Thank you.
okay. Well, the last one. I don't want to let you go, but the last one, I just want you to fill in the blank and just say, my name is blank Avista, and the key to longevity and success is blank, whatever you think it is. So my name is blank, and the key to
Okay.
longevity and success is.
My name is Avista, and the key to longevity and success is persistency. Never give up. See the challenges that come your way as just that, a challenge and a hurdle that you can overcome to get to the next one, because there'll always be challenges in front of you. Even once you've made it, even once you are that billion-dollar company, you'll still face challenges. It's
Mhm.
how you approach it and how you act on it and overcome it says a lot about you. So yeah, persistency.
Persistency. I love it. Before you go, please share your social media website if you want people to go to the website, or how to download the app, like all the things so people can stay connected, download the app and be a client or an artist on the app.
Perfect. Yes, I'd love to. So our Instagram is @glist_app. That's our Instagram. TikTok, it's just @Glist App, APP. And then my personal Instagram is @Avi_Glist founder. But once you go to Glist App, you'll see that. Website, like I said, if you go on there, please don't judge me. I know it's a mess. It is such a mess right now, but it is glistapp.com. And to download the app, all you have to do is go to the Google Play Store or the Apple Store and just type in Glist Beauty on Demand. And you can download it. It's one app for both clients and artists, and you just need to make your selection who you are.
Yay. Thank you so much. This has been like such a great conversation. I really appreciate you so much, and just like praying for the continued success of Glist. It's going to be on 50 states, might be overseas at some point. I just can't wait to see it all happen.
Yes, thank you so much, Akira. This was amazing. I absolutely loved meeting you in New York, and this has been such an honor. Thank you, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks for listening to the Friends in Beauty podcast. Don't forget, sharing is caring. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with another friend in beauty. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe, rate, and leave a 5-star review so that other friends in beauty can find the show. Plus, we'd love to hear your feedback. Connect with us on all social media platforms @FriendsInBeauty, #FriendsInBeauty to join the conversation, and join our Friends in Beauty Facebook community to stay connected. Talk to you soon.